Morning!
Hello. About 12 hours ago, 9 o'clock last night, we were right here. Well, I was on the floor in a big coat with my camera, watching the most breathtaking display of the Aurora Borealis that we've ever seen.
It was awesome.
Now, when we got home, there were so many photographs. It was a bit late to be going through them all, but I picked one out and put it on social media, and people were loving it. They were posting photographs all across the north of the UK. It was an amazing show. But we started getting a lot of questions about how to capture the Northern Lights on a camera or video. So I thought we'd make this little video to show you the settings we used and how we got the photos of the Aurora Borealis. But what is the Aurora Borealis?
The Northern Lights.
I'm going to try and explain it in the least scientific way possible. So the sun is this angry ball of angriness, and it spits out charged particles,
yes,
which is known as the coronal mass ejection. Not to be confused with nocturnal emissions, that's something completely different. Now, these charged particles get directed towards the Earth's magnetic poles.
They do.
North and south. And they come in at some fair speed, so much so that when they collide with the oxygen and nitrogen atoms in our atmosphere,
right,
they excite them. Now, as the atoms start to go back to the natural state and relax, they emit this glow. Ooh. Imagine, like me, I get excited seeing Justin Bieber, and then I get this little glow afterwards, don't I? The green colour you see with the Aurora is the most common, and that's where the charged particles come down to between 60 and 150 miles above the Earth's surface. I didn't realise it was that high. The red colour is where the particles come in and excite the atoms even higher, sometimes between 150 and maybe up to 300 miles above the surface of the Earth. You can also get other colours, pinks, lilacs, yellows, even white. It all depends how strong and how fast the particles come into the atmosphere. But how do you know when to see the Aurora? Well, there's quite a few apps available. We use one called AuroraWatch, and that sends us a notification if the ovation forecast shows that there's a big, strong Aurora on its way.
And it went nuts last night.
You can see from last night's forecast just how strong it was. Normally it sits below 50 NTs, but you can see last night it shot right up into the red, past and over 300 NTs. So how do you get a good photograph of the Northern Lights? Well, last night I used my Nikon D7200, which is a digital SLR camera. Now, I'm no expert on this. I'm not a professional photographer. I don't claim to know half of the settings on there, and I normally just shoot in auto mode, but because we get the Northern Lights pretty regularly up here, I thought I'd try and experiment with the settings to see if I could get some good shots. So these are the settings I used to get last night's photographs. First thing I did is I put it in manual mode. I set the aperture to f-stop 3.5. I set the ISO to 1600 and the shutter speed to 15 seconds. Now, I took a few photos on that, and then I moved the aperture up and down just 1 or 2 notches, the ISO 1 or 2 notches, and I changed the shutter speed up and down a few seconds. But I found that those first settings were the ones that got me the best photographs. But you know, you don't need an expensive DSLR camera to capture the Northern Lights. Sean got some shots using his iPhone. This is one of the shots that Sean got, and you can see that it's actually pretty good. Now, there's a few settings you can use on your iPhone. Most camera phones have similar ones to get a good shot of the Aurora Borealis. One, if you've got a night mode, switch it into night mode and try some shots on that. On an iPhone, you can actually change the shutter speed, the exposure, and just slide that up to maximum. Now, again, because the shutter's open for quite a while, you need to keep your phone really still, so it's no good really holding it because you're going to be moving it. If you haven't got a tripod or a little mini pod, try and find a rock or maybe a fence post and just sit the phone on there so it keeps it nice and steady, and that'll get you a clearer shot. Just a couple more tips then, and this is whether you're using a DSLR or a camera phone. First thing is, don't use your flash. Obviously that will spoil a photo. Second thing is focus. It is really difficult to focus on things at night, especially when it's as dark as it is up here in the Highlands. So what I did is I zoomed in on the moon and then focused manually on the moon and then zoomed back out to get those shots, and that gave me pretty good shots with the stars in the background. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is experiment with your settings. I've taken thousands of photographs and I've probably got a couple of dozen that I'm happy with.
Good job it's digital.
So practice and learn and you'll get there. And there'll be a lot of professional photographers, more experienced than me, that disagree with everything I've told you in this video. And that's fine, it's fair enough. There's plenty of YouTube videos and plenty of photographers with their own opinions on what settings to use. Those settings worked for me in this place. I hope you found this useful. And it might be inspiring, it might inspire you to go out and take your own photographs. If you've enjoyed this video, we hope you have, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit the thumbs up button and hit the notification bell if you'd like YouTube to let you know every time we release a new video, because we do other stuff apart from photograph the Northern Lights. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.